Okay, everything is ready, Rohit. Let us start. Okay, it is exactly 11 a.m. We will start. Okay, okay, started. Okay. Good morning, all of you. And this is the order of Additional Secretary, Government of India, Uttar Pradesh government to have this webinar on new education policy impact on higher education. So we are three people who are going to speak from University, Mangalayatan University. And we have, as you are aware, we have divided it into three parts. I'm going to take the fundamentals. After that, Dr. Jayantilal Jain will is going to speak on impact on higher education, and uh, Dr. Dinesh is going to speak on the training the trainers, kind of a part of it. So let me start with the fundamentals. New education policy. The most important highlight of NEP 2020 is it is coming after 34 years, and it was proposal set up by the Higher Education Commission of India that has brought this NEP 2020. It has excluded medical and legal education. Otherwise, the whole umbrella covers all other departments and verticals of education, of higher education. Then National Education Regulatory, NHERC, that is National Higher Education Regulatory Council for Regulation, has been put up. Then it was, involved in this. General Education Council for standard setting is also there. Higher Education Grant Council is also there. It is a funding council. Then National Accreditation Council for accreditation is also there. Okay. Now, NEP 2020 has set itself a tall task of increasing the GER in higher education from 26.3%, it was in 2018, to 50% by 2035. It means 50% of population passing out secondary education will go for higher education. That is the higher standards they have set up. Then multidisciplinary education and research universities, that is Meru, and National Research Foundation will be set up according to the policy it is claiming now. Apart from that, there are another point is there is no language will be imposed on any student. That is also it is impact on higher education. Already you might have been knowing that IAS exam is bilingual now. Hindi and English is there. So similar things are going to come, because there are people, certain kind of people, who are saying that if you learn into your own language, you understand it better, and you can explain it better. So there are very many thoughts going on that if you know local language, mother tongue, the state language, and then national language, and then one of the world language, you learn a lot. But there are so many thought processes going on, and they have taken a decision on this. Now, this was first impact on higher education and the even basic education. Now, second, single university entrance exam, a test, national test, eligibility test will be there, and national testing agency is going to conduct the examination. Okay. Another point is HRD ministry has become Ministry of Education now, because obviously they were looking after education. Now another point is there are several points, because in 20 minutes how much I can cover. The best thing is to cover all the points that have been discussed over here. Next point is top global education institutions are can establish their campuses in India. So benchmarking will be there to improve quality and impact of education. Definitely if Harvard is there, IIM is going to benchmark certain things over there. Then if MIT is here, then IITs are going to benchmark certain things. And it is always the percolation and all the things are going to be there. Then our institutions also can go offshore and set up campuses. We can set up our campuses outside is also a probability over here. So that way already IITs, Amity University and from the private sector, BITS, Pilani, they also have their Dubai campuses. So it is already started, but it will happen in a much wider range and with a deeper impact. Then technology institutions like IIT are going to teach humanity and arts too. So because solo institutions are going to perish. Either you have to be multidisciplinary, or if you are going to teach only technology, then you will perish. Only management, you will perish. Only medical, you will perish. Something like that. I mean, medical and law is already excluded from this. But multidisciplinary institutes are going to survive. And I mean, that has been encouraged because they know that IIT is they have set up their benchmark like this. So if they start arts and other education, they will try to bring it to that level. And certainly a quality education will be provided, and it will have impact on economy, and the quality of students, faculty and institutions will also improve. That is what they are believing. By 2030, every district will have multidisciplinary colleges. So gross enrollment ratio will increase. So there will be proximity of easy access of higher education in 718 districts. Now these calculations were not given. So I took out the map of India. Then 3 million our square kilometer is our area, so I divided it with 718 districts and all fantastic things I did when we got this email from additional secretary. So the calculation is like this. In means the nearest higher education institution, if there are no clubbing, there is no clustering of education institutions like you have in Noida, 104 institution at one place. In Baddi, you go, there are 34 university as at one place. If such clusterings are not there, then at every 50 kilometer there will be a higher education institution. So that is why I'm saying that, but we have to avoid the clustering and allocation of institution should be at least at one headquarter, or if a district is like this, at the center of the district or at the headquarters, so that a student gets access to it. Saturday, Sunday, he can go home at least. 50 kilometers is nothing. Okay. So that's how we'll have to plan. And if the jungle area is there, 100 kilometers jungle is there, then the institution is there, then they will have to take care that they will have to provide the transport facility. But they have thought over it. Then one of the most important thing, everybody knows this, but I'm going to cover this point as this has been recorded and it will go to the additional secretary. I'm speaking transparently. Student will get certificate after 1 year, because the degree has been made almost of 4 years. So if there are many inlets and many outlets for the whole education system, you can come join a degree, bachelor's degree. If you study for 1 year and then leave, then you will get certificate. If you study for 2 years, you will get diploma certificate. I mean, the diploma you will get. Then you do a degree for 3 years, complete 3 years, then you will get a degree, bachelor's degree. Then you do study for 1 more year, that is 4 years, where a lot of research, project work and all fantastic things will be there. Then you will get a proper research degree. It will be called honors or a research degree. That we also have such things in our Mangalayatan University already. I hope you know that if a student takes 120 credits, he'll get bachelor's degree. And if he takes 144 credit, then he gets a honors bachelor's degree in our Mangalayatan University. So similar things are there. But we are doing it in 3 years, and we'll have to improve it to 4 years. And then we'll have to add certain specialization courses of the bachelor's degree, so that he gets an honors degree along with the research degree after 4 years. So we'll have to check utility as well. Students will have, next point is, students will have choice to select subjects from different domains. You know, when in 1985, we were discussing which nation has the best education system. So I hope you know that we keep discussing, and that was in summer. Khatam. लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्टार्टेड कमिंग, अरे यार हम लोग इसके ऊपर डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, गली में मैसेज पहुंच गया। सो वो गली के वो उस टोक से एक आदमी आया, वो नोक से, फिर वो उधर से, अरे इसके ऊपर चल रहा है, चलो देते हम लोग इसके ऊपर, हम लोग बैंड बजाएंगे आशीष का, ऐसे आई मीन दे केम लाइक दैट। मैंने बोला कि भाई हमारी एजुकेशन सिस्टम बेस्ट है। तो जो एक एक बैचलर्स डिग्री हॉलैंड से आए थे, बोले कि हमारे यहाँ पे 572 सब्जेक्ट्स है, उसमें से मैं फिजिक्स सीख सकता हूँ, म्यूजिक सीख सकता हूँ, संस्कृत सीख सकता हूँ, और इंजीनियरिंग का एक सब्जेक्ट भी सीख सकता हूँ। तो बोला आप डिस्को करते हैं कि एजुकेशन लेते, बिकॉज वी हैव पर्टिकुलर कि हम लोग बैचलर ऑफ आर्ट इंग्लिश करें तो केवल इंग्लिश पढ़ेंगे, ऐसा बिल्कुल पर्टिकुलर नहीं नहीं नहीं, वैसा नहीं है। We have freedom and choice based credit system is there, and fantastic things started telling to me. बोला बट ये तो डिस्को हो गया, ये तो प्रॉपर एजुकेशन नहीं हो गया। तो आई मीन देयर वाज अ ह्यूज डिस्कशन। फिर मम्मी ने नाश्ता बिश्ता लाया, ठीक है, फिर नाश्ता हो गया, बाद में दोपहर में फिर से नाश्ता हुआ, फिर भी डिस्कशन चल रहा है व्हिच एजुकेशन सिस्टम इज बेस्ट। 1985 we were just in 10th grader, you know, still we are discussing. So अगर आपके आजू बाजू में वैसे लोग रहते तो दिस काइंड ऑफ डिस्कशन हैज नो एंड। देन वो बोला कि अमेरिका में तो ऐसा है, कोई बोला अरे इंग्लैंड में तो ऐसा है, कोई ऑस्ट्रेलिया में ऐसा है, चल रहा है बिल्कुल चल रहा है। फिर शाम हो गई, तो मम्मी ने आके टॉन्ट मारा, अरे आप एजुकेशन सिस्टम दुरुस्त करने के लिए बैठे हैं पूरी दुनिया की। आई मीन दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस। सो जो 10वीं के बच्चे डिस्कस करते हैं, अभी तो इंटरनेट वगैरह आ गया आजकल, ये सारी चीजें 8वीं 9वीं के बच्चे भी डिस्कस करते हुए मैंने देखा है। तो आई मीन इफ दीज पीपल हैव डिस्कस, आई थिंक दे माइट हैव थॉट ओवर इट better than what we used to think in 10th standard. Students will have choice to select subjects from different domains, and so they will have flexibility and choice based system and freedom to learn. No language will be imposed. Now this is also, you know, इसमें भी थोड़ा I mean a person is studying Telugu, his person is studying Sanskrit, person is studying English, he's studying 5 languages at a time. If he's studying you know, literacy course he's doing, is it possible? That we'll have to see the feasibility as well. Now next point over here, the policy aims to introduce 3-tier structure in higher education. Tier 1 is research university, tier 2 is teaching universities, and MPhil is no more. MPhil has expired, and I hope you understand it. MPhil will be no more offered. It has expired and it will not be offered. Then all the B.Ed will be 4 years course, because if somebody has to do B.Eds and he has to start from BA and 1 year B.Ed, 4 years course, that they are thinking over it how to offer. PhD can be pursued after master or after 4 years of bachelor degree in research. This is also one of the point. PhD will have 8 credit course worth of teaching or research and education pedagogy related courses. Then tier 3 colleges. Now this I talk about teaching universities. Usme MPhil is no more, B.Ed is there, PhD in 4 years and PhD 8 credits course. Now next is tier 3. They will be colleges. They will be offering only high quality teaching from certificate till bachelor's degree. Okay, so these are the major point in our education policy. I wanted to discuss a few more things, but I think 20 minutes are going to be over, and next person to speak is Dr. Jayantilal Jain. So if you have, I have 2 more minutes left. If you have any questions, you may ask, then I can answer. Questions are welcome. Any questions, sir, from anyone?
Yes, sir. There is one question only I would like to know.
Please.
Here the government is going to emphasize on pluridisciplinary or interdisciplinary subjects or studies. I
Yeah.
would like to know, is there any framework they have already settled so as to give the students the choice of the subjects? I mean to say, there are number of departments. So will it be limited to some particular number of department? Let's say the student of the arts department, we can select the courses, let's say from the science only, or there will be no choice. He can specify the subjects from any. I mean, he can choose the subjects from any of the departments running by the university. How is it
Yes.
framed?
So that you see, if a student is taking admission in BA, but at the same time he's studying physics, he's studying departmental. So his paper will be set up by the departments who are specialized in that, and he'll appear for exam, and his answer sheets will go to that particular department. But at the end of his degree, he will get a degree as a bachelor of arts, but having done these courses.
Mhm.
So something like, something like that, already a framework is given. It is given on, I shall give you the website. I mean, I
I
can tell
see.
you the,
Mhm.
hold on. It is one of these framework is given on ugc.ac.in, and PDF news it is given 3563340. PPT draft is also there. So it has
Mhm.
been clearly mentioned that this how they are going to do. A clear draft is mentioned over here. It is there. A framework is there, definitely. Thank you very
Okay.
much, Dheeraj ji.
Thanks, sir.
Any other question? 1 more minute left. 1 more minute left. Please. Any questions? Okay. So, last point I want to cover is the education policy is light but tight. They are saying that it is a light system, that everybody should go into higher education, but at the same time it is a tight system that you have to pass through particular stages. You have to, there are no cutting corners. There is no cutting corners. You have to do first year, you have to do second year, you have to do third year, you have to do fourth year, and then you'll get a bachelor's degree with research, something like that. I mean, which in whichever domain you prefer. So it is a light but tight system, and rest of the things, my time is over. So I hand over mic to Dr. Jayantilal Jain. He's going to speak on impact on higher education, and next person to him who is coming is Dr. Dinesh. He'll speak on training the trainer in higher education. Thank you, sir. Sir Jayantilal, thanks to all of you. Jayantilal Jain, please, sir, please start your sir point. सर आपका माइक बंद है सर. जयंतीलाल जैन, आपका माइक्रोफोन ऑफ आ रहा है. जैन सर आपका माइक्रोफोन ऑफ है, प्लीज ऑन कीजिए. जैन सर आपका माइक्रोफोन ऑन ऑन कीजिए प्लीज.
Yes. But now it is okay. Am I
Yes,
audible, sir?
yes sir,
Now,
you are audible sir.
आवाज
Perfect.
आ रही है, sir?
Please go
Okay.
ahead sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I have been given the task of talking something relating to quality of education in the system. So quality is, of course, a little vague, but even then it is possible to uh, uh, say standardize qualities or make a judgment on the qualities or measure the quality. So how do we measure the quality in education? So I will talk first about the quality of education, that is how to measure the quality in education, and then about the new education policy. Because the policy points have already been covered, so I will not go into that, but still, with respect to quality, I will talk about it. So how do we measure the quality of education? And more so in higher education and like that. So, or how do we judge it? How do we measure it? Or what factors that determine the quality of education? So, of course, it is providing learners with capabilities. Second, they should develop sustainable livelihood for them. They must get livelihood for them. Otherwise, what is the use? And it is not a livelihood for 6 months or a few months and like that. It is livelihood that can continue to get sustainable economic well-being for themselves. And third is that they should be able to contribute peaceful and democratic societies. We see a lot of incidents nowadays, or even earlier, where the democratic societies are not only did they get the job, but their overall well-being, their social life, their health life, their economic well-being, their
सर जैन सर आपका आवाज बराबर नहीं आ रहा है.
other kind of psychological well-being, their level of motivation, and all those. Hello, now it is okay?
Yes, sir. Now it is okay, sir.
All right. Okay, I will go ahead with it. Then there are other things which are qualitative things that must be expressed or manifested in individuals. There should be some sort of personalization in education, that the student respect the teacher and teacher respect the student in the sense that he is concerned about his well-being, and that kind of a personalization should take place. And then high standards and performance-based assessment, and not just personalized assessments. Another thing that result is should be that there should be authentic curriculum, in the sense that the curriculum should be relevant to whatever his life and the work and the profession skills. Other things that are used in teaching, they should be flexible and adaptive to the individual requirements also. Then, of course, the point that was, of course, very mentioned, that it should be, we should promote a society which is multicultural, and we should secular in a true sense, not in a biased way, but in a true sense, and anti-racist or caste systems and all those things we try to avoid if we promote a good quality education. Then, of course, knowledge and skill of teachers should also be adequate to handle this kind of a situation. For this, the learning environment has also to be improved, in the sense that they should be able to have a good students, healthy students, a secure life, secure campus life, which is becoming very difficult. Safe life, it is very difficult, because a lot of indisciplined activities in the campuses and like that. So if that kind of atmosphere prevails, what kind of education we can do? there will be hartals, or even if there are no official hartals, but students will not be attending the classes. Half of the time teacher will also not be able to do because students are not attending the classes. Then what kind of quality of education we can talk about? So that learning environment has to improve. And then of course we can go on, but the things like that is happening now in terms of COVID and like if there are natural disasters or any kind of a things, earthquakes and like that, what is the safety mechanism that is available in the university so that we can deal with this kind of pandemic or any health hazard, or people living near the seashore, they can take refuge in that. I remember in USA when we were studying, there was a frequent problem of tornadoes there, high winds, heavy winds. So in all buildings there was a basement, so that whenever there is a high winds or tornadoes and like that, you can go underneath, spend a half an hour or 45 minutes, that is expected to last, and then resume our work. So that kind of a safety is also required in campuses. And of course, most important thing is funding of the organizations and how that is to be done. That funding decides how the quality will be there. I will come to this point towards little later, but because I wanted to make some few comments, so I will take that point later. But these are the ideal conditions in which a good education system or a university should work, and we should try to achieve these kind of objectives in education. Then only quality will improve. Otherwise, just changing the system as it is proposed, of course it is abroad now, still so many details are to be worked out, but nevertheless it is a good system, and in terms of in all fairness, what is proposed is a very good system, and it brings out a lot of improvements. I will take in terms of quality few of the points. Okay. Now in this new system, there will be education it will be open to foreign universities and like that. So which is good. It will promote qualities, because when the students from different countries are there, will be forced to teach them, and they will be also asking so many questions, and there will be competition among the students that how the other students are performing, and that will certainly improve the standards. In a lot of universities, all of us know that there are a lot. I have seen that Chinese students are also too good, and that's why Indian students also to match them and then try to secure higher points or higher grades than what they are getting. Even now, I know my granddaughters and like that, they have to struggle to see that they can beat the Chinese students in the class. And for that, they have to make hard efforts, or whatever. They have to make more efforts. Naturally, that will also improve the quality. In Indian system, all administrators, whether at a country level or at a university level, all administrations, they, instead of promoting the quality of education, they become hindrances. They become obstacles. Certainly improve it. But multidiscipline is always good. Even when I did PhD, I was asked to do some other courses also. So at that time, I was able to do a computer course, which was not a part of my requirement. But since whatever that IBM old system that was there, we were forced to do that kind of things. And I learned a little bit of set theory and mathematics, because I thought that I will be able to use in my PhD work and like that. So if there are options, it is always good.
जैन सर आपका you have lost the connection, Jain sir. Jain sir, you are no more connected. So let me cover what he has covered till now. That last point was in place of providing quality education, the management becomes the hurdle to providing quality education. Like that, then this point he covered. Prior to that, he covered about how in PhD, during PhD, he learned the computers by IBM. 1972 के बाद की समय की बात कर रहे हैं. And he was able to do that. He learned a lot. Then prior to that, he talked about uh, several points. Sir, please Jayantilal Jain sir, आपका microphone off है. And then he covered a few more points, like when we have to provide quality education, you need to have safety standards in the university. He covered a point that I hope everybody knows, then USA, a lot of tornadoes are there where he studied. He studied in Oklahoma State University, so a lot of tornadoes come over there. So they had safety features, like going to the uh, you know and going down and staying safe, and once the tornado is over, then coming up and all those things. So then he covered about investment is required, but he is going to talk about investment in later part. Then quality education requires quality faculty, he said. Then he said about that government, a proper framework has to be there, and in place of breaking the framework, proper frameworks, they have to bring and improve upon that. He talked about all these things. So Jayantilal Jain sir, please, 1 minute left. So Dinesh sir, are you there? Dinesh sir.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
So you can start, sir. Now Dinesh sir is going to speak about training the trainer in higher education. Please, sir, please go ahead. So by the time you start, let me put one or two
Yeah,
points.
yeah.
Jayantilal Jain sir said that education, almost his crux was, it is not a business. It is it is a charity kind of thing where we require investment. I mean, it is a charitable act, but at the same time it requires a lot of investment, because at the end of the day, the character of a person is more important. That builds the nation, the society, and the whole world. So that's what he all covered. uh, Now next speaker is Dr. Dinesh. Please go ahead, sir. Jain sir, hey, Jain sir has
Can I
joined,
take few
sir.
minutes?
Any points you want to?
Yeah.
Please, sir, please. Dinesh sir, sorry, he has
Okay,
joined.
okay. It's fine,
Please, sir. No worries, sir, it happens.
Yeah.
No worries, sir, please cover, sir.
Yeah.
Let us, Dinesh sir, me and you, we just switch off the mic. Let us switch off the mic. Please, Jain sir, please go ahead.
In my watch it is 11:30. In my watch it is 11:34. So I will finish at 11:40, whatever schedule time.
No worries,
Okay?
sir. You take 8
Now-
minutes, sir. No worries.
now-
2 minutes extra. Then
Come-
Dinesh sir, you can speak up to 12:05. No,
Back
no
to
worries,
the
sir.
point.
Go
So
ahead.
these 5 things about opening universities, foreign universities, dismantling structures, UGC and other things, multi problem, it will suffer the quality. Quality will suffer. Second point where they are saying that it will be implemented by 2040, then of course, again, it is long term is, as we always say, that long term is very difficult. Nobody will be there to see. At least we will not be there in 2040 to see that how the policy have been implemented and things and all. It's a very long time. Maybe they could have kept a 5 year or horizon or something like that, or not more than 10 years horizon, with the stages in 5 years and 10 years and like that. That could have been better. But anyway, then multidisciplinary is very good. Of course, one great point is they are aiming at robust digital infrastructure buildings, which is very good. It is a requirement of the time, and all universities, everybody should have this robust digital infrastructure availability. And there are other points that they are saying, so that you can get degrees in between, and dropouts will not be there, as we see now. Lot of drops out are there, and then we have to arrange a lot of examinations for them, and they also get obviously it means, okay, that it will be light, means this reduction will be there, syllabus will be reduced, and layers will be reduced and like that, so it will be light. But how tight it will be? Tight means quality. So how tight it will be, it is very difficult to say now, because things are not clear. So I come to my last point, which I thought.
सर आप जज सर
Structure
आपका
can
आवाज बराबर नहीं आ रहा. लास्ट पॉइंट के
meeting
बाद में सुनाई नहीं दिया.
get certain okay, sir, okay. Okay, I will repeat again.
प्लीज लास्ट पॉइंट रिपीट कीजिए. सुनाई नहीं दिया सर, प्लीज, बिकॉज हमें सुनना है, वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है सर.
Persist even in a new system. नहीं सर, चलता है और चलने दो.
Again, Dr. Jain has lost the connectivity. He was covering about the point chalta hai. I mean, chalta hai approach will not work in case we have to provide a quality education. And it is obvious that some places you have to be highly disciplined, like the way military people provide the education to their people. I hope everybody is aware that uh, till a person becomes brigadier, means 30 years in Indian military services, till 30 years they provide certain kind of education every year. Every year almost Every soldier spends 3 months for learning new things in their career. I mean, as a soldier. So that kind of thing is has to be there. That at some places, strict discipline and strict implementation of policy has to be there. Then only we'll be able to make a higher impact. I mean, a good quality education and impact on the society will be there. So we agree with him that chalta hai kind of attitude will not work in higher education. In case we also have to develop several laboratories across India, several higher top class education institutions, because if foreigners are going to come over here and provide quality education, and if our institutions do not stand cut to cut, hindi mein kaha hota hai, cut to cut, so if they don't stand at par with them, then we are going to perish definitely. So we will have to come to certain level, and then only we can sustain for a longer time. And now next person to speak is Dr. Dinesh. And Dr. Dinesh, are you speaking from someone from Raj phone? Someone from Raj, Vipul Raj or something?
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, please,
Yeah, yeah,
please go
yeah,
ahead, sir.
yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Dinesh is here. He's going to speak on training the trainers. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Am I audible,
Yes, sir.
sir?
Audible, sir. Please go ahead.
Sir, am I? So focusing on the topic, uh, most respectable Jayantilal Jain sir, Professor Ashish sir, the participants we have come across, and this is a very small presentation which I am showing to you all. Hardly I have 15-20 minutes time. So anyway, focusing on the impact on training the trainers, the new education policy, its impact on training the trainers. Next. So before we move to the main components, that is training the trainers, I would like to focus on the aims of this new education policy 2020. Less content, this is very, very important. During this pandemic time also, this new education policy has come. So less content and more towards learning about how to think critically and solve problems. This is one of the most prominent aims as laid down in the new education policy 2020. To be creative and multidisciplinary, to be innovative, adaptive, and absorb new material in novel and changing scenario. This is as given in the new education policy, the chief aims of education. Pedagogy must evolve to make education more experimental, holistic, integrated, discovery-oriented, learner-centered, discussion-based, flexible, and enjoyable. So it is high time now that we need to reframe, need to innovate something in our curriculum so that we can adopt these principles of new education policy as part of the aims of education. It is also being focused on the orientation, and now I am moving to the foundational pillars of. Sir, is my screen visible to you all? Hello?
Your voice is visible, and you are also visible, and but if you want to make presentation, then present now, you go to present now and then just click on that.
Okay, okay. Anyway, since we have lack of time, so anyway, let me check it out. The foundational pillars, the new education policy has very clearly referred that we need to have the access, we need to have the adaptability, we need to have the inclusion and innovativeness in the entire process of education, right from the school level to the higher education. So let me focus more on now the school education. What is the design now which is being framed in the new education policy? The design which is being mentioned is the school education will have a design of 5+3+3+4 design. This 5 includes the foundational 3 years of preschooling and grade 1 and 2. And then we have the preparatory, that is grade 3, 4, 5, the middle 6, 7, 8, and high school, that is from 9 to 12. So this is the new design as given in the new education policy, that is 5+3+3+4. Now the most important aspect which is being referred in the new education policy is the university entrance examination and the role of National Testing Agency. This is very important for universities, for colleges, because the National Testing Agency will serve as the testing organization in the country to conduct all the entrance examinations for undergraduate, graduate, and other examinations organized by the higher educational institutions. It will offer a high quality common aptitude test. So for training the trainers also, it will be much easier on the part of the universities. They can save their time and unnecessary burden, and in this way it will reduce the cost and also the burden of the universities and colleges, which can be focused on extending the development of other aspects of education. Now for training the trainers, especially for the teachers, the new education policy has very specifically mentioned that by the year 2030, the minimum degree qualification for teachers, I mean school teachers, it will be 4-year integrated B.Ed degree. By 2030, that means it is in the process, and by 2030, the minimum requirement, the minimum degree qualification for becoming a teacher will be 4-year integrated B.Ed degree. The 2-year B.Ed program will also be offered by the same multidisciplinary institutions. This the new education policy has very specifically mentioned that standalone teachers training colleges will no more exist. They have to convert themselves into multidisciplinary institutions offering different courses of arts, humanities, commerce, management, etc. And the third important aspect that was being given, the 1-year B.Ed program may also be suitably adapted. It will be offered to those who have completed the equivalent of 4-year multidisciplinary bachelor's degrees or have obtained a master's degree. Now, the last but not the least, the most important aspect which is being given for the university teachers. The new education policy 2020 has very specifically mentioned that all fresh PhD entrants, all new admissions to PhD, irrespective of the discipline, will be required to undertake credit-based courses in teaching, education, and pedagogy-related contents to their chosen PhD subject during their doctoral training period. This is the most important aspect, especially for the trainers. I mean, those who are going to become teachers in the universities. So all fresh PhD entrants, they have to undergo a credit-based course, which may include the teaching tactics, teaching strategies, teaching methods. They may all have the principles of education, the foundational aspects of education, the philosophical and the psychological aspects of education, and also the pedagogy related contents, which is to be the inherent part of the credit based course for all PhD entrants. For all the subject PhD aspirants, those who are going to take admissions in science, humanities, commerce, management, engineering, all those teachers, those who wish to get admission in PhD, when they undergo the training, they have to undergo this compulsory component of teaching, education, and pedagogy related contents. This is aimed at exposing the entrance to PhD program with different pedagogy practices. They will also learn about designing curriculum, the evaluation systems, and so on, which are the most important components of the university teaching learning. This will help the research scholars to become faculties in the days to come. And also, they will have teaching experience while undergoing the PhD program. So this is a challenge now for all the PhD programs at universities around the country, because they have to reorient and reframe and re-induct these contents into their programs, into their curriculum. And also this will provide opportunities to PhD students to take the teaching tasks in the universities and colleges, and also they may be appointed as teaching assistants, teaching different subjects in different faculties of the universities. So this new education policy is really a revolutionary policy now, the first policy of the 21st century. So the education, what is being aimed at by the new education policy, need to be holistic, it need to be integrated, it should be inclusive, it should be engaging and enjoying for the learners. So once again, I am focusing on the main components of this new education policy. For every teacher, there should be continuous professional development of 50 hours duration. For all the working teachers, in-service teachers, there should be 50 hours training program, which will be part of the continuous professional development. So I'm reaching close to my time. I thank the organizers today that they have undertaken this task, because new education policy need to be discussed and elaborated more for better understanding of teachers, of all these stakeholders of education. So I extend my gratitude, thankfulness to all the participants, and especially to the Pro Vice Chancellor, Professor Ashish sir, for inviting me to speak something about the new education policy. I am grateful to Professor Jayantilal Jain sir for his wise discourse today on the new education policy. So I am thanking everyone. Thank you, sir.
Okay, any more questions? The panel is open for discussion. Anybody has any question, please let us know. We are here to answer. Like last time, Dheeraj Kumar sir has asked, is there any framework? I have given the link of the framework where it is appearing. Similarly, whatever Dr. Dinesh sir has spoken, the framework is given on page number 22. Same link what I said earlier. Anybody else who has any question, please. It is available on HRD Ministry, Ministry of Education. Draft is available. Even the final policy. Okay, so no more questions are there. So let me uh, revise the what we have discussed today, so that in nutshell you will come to know what we have discussed. First, I discussed about what is the policy exactly. So in the first 20 minutes, I discussed about Higher Education Commission of India, then National Higher Education Regulatory Council, Federal Education Council, Higher Education Grants Council, National Accreditation Council, how they are related to this, how they build it, and how NEP 2020 is going to take the GER registration of students from 26.3% in 2018 to 50% in 2035. Then we discussed about multidisciplinary education research universities. Then we talk about language translate on students. Then multidisciplinary colleges and institutions will survive, and how 718 districts in India will have higher education institution at their places. Then certification after 1 year, diploma after 2 years, degree after 3 years, and after 4 years research degree. Then students will have choice-based system. All these things we discussed. Then next, Jayantilal Jain sir came and he discussed right from how the management of education system should not be hurdle, but the the provider of quality of education, how they should invest, what kind of holistic education should be provided, then what are the steps has to be taken, what is the framework and how concrete the framework should be to be followed, so that if we cut the corners, then it will not benefit the society at large. Then came Dr. Dinesh. He has provided about how train the trainers should be there and how it is and how should it happen. So he discussed about uh, what the common entrance examination will do, because if the faculty are busy in generating question paper for entrance, then their lot of time and energy will be diverted there, so they will invest their this time into their education, higher education that is provided, how the B.Ed education will be there, how PhD education will be there. He has discussed all these points, and still we have 1 minute left. Still, if you have any question, you are welcome. I believe that a lot of points have been covered, and if required, if the demand is there, we can have one more webinar or webcon if required. But if there are no questions, then we might close this webinar. I shall wait for 10 seconds if you have any question. Raza Saab, Goyal Saab, Pathak Saab, YP Singh, Yogesh Kumar sir. If you have any questions, Srivastav Saab, if you have any questions, please let us know. If not, then Jain sir, Dinesh sir, shall we close the webinar? Just raise your hand. If you have to close, then we'll close it. Any
Sir,
last, any
sir,
last comment?
sir,
You can provide any last comment. Open, sir.
sir, we may have another elaborative webinar on new education policy.
Okay.
There we may discuss about the specific clauses which are really relevant to our university teachers.
Okay.
Because we ran constraint of time today, so we could not focus on, because once we start focusing, it will take not less than 15-20 minutes. So anyway, I'm thankful to you. I'm thankful to all the participants today for organizing such a wonderful webinar today. Thank you, sir.
Sir, now my question to Jain sir and you. when we can conduct in the next week or something, so that everybody comes prepared with their questions. Said now they know all the things. They will also come with questions. We will also prepare, and we'll have a nice webinar on this.
Sir, we may. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, we may organize any day in the next week. In the next week, no problem.
Okay, because I believe it should be in the second week of September, because first week is fully loaded with
Okay, okay, sir. It's fine.
so in case second week of September, for example, I mean second, it should not be second, I mean third week, 7th September to 13th September, that we will decide with proper deliberation. So we are open for that. Still, last time I'm asking, if any questions are there, you are welcome. Otherwise, I shall give you 10 seconds. It is already 12:01 p.m. And yes, okay. So no questions are there. So I am thankful to Dr. Jayantilal Jain for coming prepared and delivering such a beautiful discourse on impact on higher education, and especially how to improve quality and implement into universities. I'm thankful to Dr. Dinesh for providing such a wonderful presentation, and apart from that, suggesting that there should be one more webinar which covers specific points, specific policy details that can be implemented. So we'll have that webinar next week, third week. In fact, I told you already, after 7th of September, so that everybody is on the same page about national education policy. Wherever our professors go, they should be able to speak of that, confidently. They should defend themselves, what we are doing in our university, what is the policy, how we are aligned to that. So thank you very much, and all the participants and IT department as well. And there are a lot of, some people from India, abroad, and so many places are there. I'm thankful to them. And God bless you all. And we from Mangalayatan University, we declare our webinar is over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.